Hey, this is a New York rat here. Uh, so pretty much today, what I wanted to do as a video idea that I kind of thought up, while I was taking a shower the other day, was to sort of do a Minecraft series where I, you know, answer questions while also just playing the game. Pretty simple concept. I just figured I want to just be able to ramble, about things while, also playing a game. So, for, it's gonna be a little mini series that I'm gonna be starting. So it's gonna be going on for a while. I don't know for how long, really, since I'm just now getting back into Minecraft. I haven't really even played since, really, consistently played the game since, I don't know, 1.12. So I'm really getting back in and jumping into the deep end here as far as with the game itself. But with these topics, it's just gonna weird little ideas and then kind of go on from there. Starting off with the first question that I have going on. Oh, actually, you know what? Actually, let me elaborate on this prior as well. So the video series here is gonna be called Mining for Answers. It's kind of my own little dig at just kind of what I'm gonna be talking about. Today, I got all of these questions from r/ask Reddit. And so for the first question is by the user That's Mr. Muck to You. And his question that he had asked was, what is your comfort TV show? Now, when I kind of first saw this question, I was just kind of, thinking about it in my head. And, there's a lot of TV shows that I really grew up watching. I grew up watching a lot of Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Nickelodeon, a lot of the major networks, and so there's a lot of good shows. But the one that is really my a comfort show per se, it's hard to say because comfort, just means I would always go back to it. And to be honest, I haven't really went back to watch a lot of these shows that often. Here and there, I might reminisce about watching the show and go back and watch a few episodes or go on YouTube and watch some clips, and I'm like, okay, well, that's my fill for my comfort show. But a show that I tend to find myself always going back to, no matter what, was definitely Adventure Time. I'd have to say that was the show that I grew up watching that really just resonated with me. I just love the whole idea of Finn the human and Jake the dog go on their little rambunctious adventures and just having a good time. I found that really just enjoyable. There was so many cool ideas. It had an overarching story, which I didn't really get that much as a kid. A lot of times I was mostly just paying attention to whatever the mini arc, the major problem of the episode was, besides the overarching story. But growing up and then kind of going back and rewatching it, there was just so much to pull away from that show, even on multiple rewatches. And definitely I would say a comfort, because it's one I can go back and also just pick up on new things. Now that could be said for a lot of shows, but I like how Adventure Time does it because it really feels like this big world filled with just interesting, vibrant, and well-designed characters. I love the Ice King. He's also one of my favorite characters. Jake the dog, easily my favorite. His just style of comedy and the way he always tries to cheer up Finn whenever Finn's down is just amazing. And especially Finn himself, he's not really the perfect kid. He's also growing up in this world. He's also a teenager trying to figure out what's going on, really, kind of taking in everything as it's happening. And so definitely in the earlier seasons he's kind of laid back and kind of doesn't really do the smartest things. He doesn't make the best decisions, because he's a little kid just trying to go and explore the world. Well, Jake kind of takes a more older brother role in their duo, but they just mesh really well together. And so obviously I'm also gonna be you know, kind of a little side tangent while I'm playing. This is going to be the main world, I'd say, as well. Why did I just make 2 axes? Okay. What am I doing? Alright. Get that. Get that. Alright. Pickaxe. Alright. Moving on to the next question. It's from the user RevolutionLeg7724. How would society change if we could all read each other's thoughts? Read each other's thoughts is definitely doing a lot. I think it's definitely gonna change all. For once, people are not gonna feel safe with even, you know, thinking in their heads. That's the first thing, which is, you know, the obvious issue there. And there's gonna be a lot of people trying to sort of misdirect people into believing certain things by, you know, having to essentially gaslight themselves in order to gaslight other people. And so it will probably create a lot of problems within human interaction. I also like to think on a funnier note that it probably would lead to a lot of people just thinking about the most, you know, weirdest, you know, random bullshit at times. And, you know, I'm not sure if it's an all-time thing where you're walking around and you'll just pick up everyone's thoughts. That sounds terrible, because then how would you even be able to, you know, tell us who's who? You know, it's just a random stranger, you're able to hear their thoughts. But regardless, if you just, you know, are walking up to a store and you grab some groceries, you go to the register to buy your items, and, you know, you ask the person there, like, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing all right. And then next thing you know, you see that pop up in their head. They're just like, damn, I really just want to, you know, suck my toes today. You're like, what the fuck? Did I, what? And that's really gonna be like, whoa, okay. This is some freaky ass bullshit, you know? It would definitely be weird, and it would lead to a lot of weird first interactions with people where, you know, it's either between just completely not giving a fuck about what people are thinking in your head, or most normal, bland things you could think of. It's gonna really draw the line between who's real, who isn't. As funny as weird as that sounds, I need to get food. I'm gonna die because I was too busy talking to go and find food. As far as how I would probably react to just this happening now, I mean, first things first, I'm gonna go and just start fucking with people, you know? Like, I want to be able to see, like, how far I could push, you know, people's thoughts to react, I guess, in a sense, because normally when people react to something, you know, it might not be as true or clearly as how they actually think about it. Now, sometimes it's hard for them to put it into words a lot of the times, but they may be thinking about it in a sort of abstract sense. So if I was able to just, you know, I don't know, prank someone, pour a bucket of cold, you know, icy water on someone, you know, and then just see the reaction from there, that would be interesting. But then again, I feel like it would just have to be a whole complete change in, you know, in the infrastructure of everything, honestly, because now you have to accommodate for this whole new power, because it's not just one person, it's everyone. That's the worst part, is that there's gonna be a lot of people are gonna use it for bad things as well. So definitely don't want that happening, but I mean, I still think it'd be pretty funny. On to the next question, which is by the user Gladius Noctumo. What song do you instantly associate with your teenage years? Teenage years. First song I associate? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, surprisingly, growing up until like I was about a teenager, I actually wasn't really that into music all that much. I didn't really like how just noisy it was. It's kind of weird. I mean, I know some people are like that, but I was like that as a kid, and it definitely led to, you know, me having either mixed feelings or just getting annoyed by hearing music at times. I don't know. just wasn't for me. But I guess also as, you know, I started making new friends and friends starting to, you know, get in and finding their music taste, I also started to be like, oh, well, let me also see what sort of music, you know, I can find. They're just kind of scurrying around the internet. Definitely, you know, since I grew up watching a lot of YouTube, I would go on there, on whatever, you know, songs were on there. But the thing is about that, actually, now that it comes to my mind, I liked it up to a certain point. I more liked watching music with music videos, because, damn, oh my, holy shit, there's no way he's gonna shoot me in the water. What the fuck? Well, that just happened. So I just died, and I lost my train of thought too. Okay. Let's see. Alright, I need to kill you. Hold up. I need a bed, so I don't have to worry about dying every 10 seconds while I'm trying to find food. Okay. Alright, that's 2. I dropped all my stuff around here? Hold up. That was a lot. Alright, I remember. Okay. So, thing is I generally didn't like music that much, but what I would always do is that since we would have cable in my house, we used to have the on demand, which was, you know, pre-recorded and saved videos or shows or whatever that were put on there, so that you're able to rewatch them for at least a week, and then they would refresh and take out some of the old ones, put in new episodes. This would go for TV shows, cartoon shows, music videos, anything, you name it. It was on there. And I would always watch the cartoon shows a lot as well. But one thing I loved to do on there was watch the music videos from MTV. It was really, really cool as a kid to see all these artists with these big bombastic videos. The visuals going along with the music is what really pulled me in. Going forward towards my teenage years, when I had gotten a phone and and headphones, eventually I started to, you know, go out of my way to find my own sort of taste in music. I would definitely say one that really stood out to me was a song by Queen called Bohemian Rhapsody. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Might have fucked that up.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Freddie Mercury's voice, just unmatched. Obviously, besides, you know, maybe like Michael Jackson, in my opinion. Really, I just like the song because it, you know, sort of starts off very quiet, and, you know, sort of, you know, Freddie's whispering to you, in a sense, kind of like, you know, this soft tone, and obviously with the Queen band also coming in to sort of harmonize as well, really added to the texture of the song. I guess the reason why it stands out to me, and probably the one that I associate with my teenage years, I think it's more so just like the, you know, how it's constantly changing, and how it goes from just starting out, you know, very mellow into a very bombastic, you know, rock song, which I just love how it finishes like that. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next question. By Turbulence Fun. What is the greatest physical pain you've ever felt? I've had definitely a few very painful. Definitely had more than a handful of painful moments in my life. I think, you know, everyone has to some extent. Though I will say right off the bat, I've never actually broken a bone. So yeah, I drank my milk. Just said. However, I have definitely done some very stupid things as a kid, and I've definitely hurt myself worse than I needed to. I think I'm just gonna list the ones that I remember, because there's not really an exactly greatest pain, because they're all different types of pain. Here's why. It's gonna be between these two. So the first one that happened to me when I was way younger, probably I want to say between like 10 and 11 years old. It was during the summer, and I was out at a lake with my father and my family, and we were, they were out grilling, and they had cooked up some food, and while he was doing that, I was jumping around on the tree, the roots of the trees, because they were sticking out. So I would hop on those and just around the general area, and I had been doing that for quite a while, I would say. I mean, 5-10 minutes already at that point. I go and I'm just off doing my own thing, and while that's happening, the family finishes grilling up the food. So they're done with the grill, so they toss out the coals. Coincidentally, also right down in the tree roots, just happening to be one like the closest to them, and they just did that. And so, pouring it right there while a kid's also jumping around, albeit was stupid of me considering that's what a lot of other people were doing. I didn't know that, but I did not really consider that when I was 10, 11 years old. So that they pour that down, and I'm jumping around, and next thing you know, I jump near the tree that they had poured the coals down, and I hadn't really noticed it, but I saw it in my peripheral vision that there was some some darker masses at the bottom of the tree. It was some coal, some charcoal there, still piping hot, by the way. It wasn't on fire, but it was still hot because they had just freshly dumped it. And I jump, and I land right on the coals, and holy shit, it hurt like hell. I started screaming. I was like, ah! Just, screaming, in agonizing pain because I just stepped on hot coals. So, I'm there just writhing, and I'm just like, oh, I start crying because I'm like, oh, I just burned my feet. In retrospect, it wasn't actually as bad as it was, and I think I only had gotten a first degree burn. So, it was just very red, and also blisters and bubbling up. It wasn't the worst possible burn because I only had landed on it for a few seconds. I only had standed on it for 2-3 seconds, and then I was right back off. I run over to my family, and they're like, oh, what happened? And I tell oh, I stepped right there. I point over to there, they're like, oh, why would you do that? You stepped right there, where we dumped the coals. I was like, yeah. And I just felt like such an idiot. I was like, oh man. But in reality, I mean, it wasn't really my fault to an extent. I wasn't aware of that. My family probably should have at least gave me a warning or a heads up beforehand. And so that's probably the first greatest pain I've ever had. That was the first one. The second one actually was more recent. Working at my job, and essentially what had happened was I was doing some unloading with boxes. I go and reach down to grab another box, and the next thing you know, I just get the sharpest pain in my lower back, and it was pretty bad at first. It spiked in there. It wasn't just a a little prick. And I'm just like, okay, this is bad, it hurts, but I'm just gonna tough it through. So I do that for another 10 minutes, and the pain's getting progressively worse and worse. And eventually, it got so bad to the point where I'm just any sort of movement was just hurting me in my lower back all the way around my body. I was just doing anything was uncomfortable. It just hurt. And I try to go back to work after that, my 5-minute break, and it just gets worse somehow. It got so bad to the point where I have to literally stand still, and any movement inflicted a sharp pain in my lower back. And so at that point, I was just like, I can't do this. So I go until the lead shift, and so I had my mother pick me up because I couldn't even drive back home because I was just in that much physical pain. Not home, to the emergency room. And then we get there after getting checked in. They checked me out, they laid me down, and we were there for about an hour and a half. They eventually tell me that what it was that I most likely gotten a pinched nerve. And I was like, pinched nerve? Really? A pinched nerve? Is it that bad? Essentially just going to cause you extreme discomfort, and it can be reoccurring, which definitely scared me a little bit, but it didn't happen again afterwards, thankfully. It was definitely pretty bad, like during the first part of it, you know, but later on where I was just able to like lay down, I wasn't actually, you know, I didn't have to get up and move anywhere, so it wasn't nearly as bad. All right, so on to the next question, is DJ Makoto. What is the creepiest sound you've ever heard? Creepy. So, the creepiest sound I've ever heard. You know, I can say for certain it was definitely a sound at nighttime, because you know you generally hear a lot more. You pay attention to a lot more of your surrounding, the surrounding noise at night. It's darker out, so your eyes don't have to focus nearly as much on what you can see in front of you, and more about just what you can hear. I couldn't even say exactly. I would just say maybe just hearing a noise in the dark forest. That's definitely probably the scariest to me. There's no particular noise that has really spooked me that much, because then again, I don't really get scared that easily in the first place. But you know, some if a noise is, you know, stands out enough amongst the silence, it could definitely spook me a little bit, get me a little nervous, you know, shaking in my boots. Maybe the only other thing would be when the first time when I had on my older brother sleepwalking at night, and that was pretty weird. Wouldn't even really say that's a sound, because I actually saw him doing it, but hearing just someone walking around and in the dark and then not even noticing your presence, it was a little weird. Hold on, I have enough? Okay, I need to make a bed. Hold up, I've just been running around. Let me actually make a bed. Whoa, what is this generation? Alright, so while I'm waking up, let's see. The next question is by the user Striking Chord 8835. And their question is, what would aliens look like? Now, this is a pretty fun question. I really wanted to answer. I really wanted to put this one in here because I thought it would be a pretty interesting one to talk about, because I can just kind of go anywhere with this. And so now, generally as to what aliens could look like, there's always been, you know, varying and different, you know, interpretations of how aliens look like. You know, whether they look like us or they look completely different, and maybe they don't even have bones, and so they look like octopuses, to not even having a physical form. You know, they could be made out of, you know, energy. So, but I think that's a pretty boring way to look at it. You know, I like to think that they look wildly different from us, and also maybe they could also probably just have maybe similar body parts. I think the funniest one that's definitely comes to mind is the typical humanoid alien, which is the sort of humanoid body with a really large head and small, you know, jaw, and then big black eyes, and then gray skin. That one is definitely a very recognizable and funny way to interpret how an alien looks. But I want to go a step further. I want to give a revised version of this alien. You know, I think first off, what I want to do is also just, you know, double the size of the eyes, give it a nose like Squidward, have it so that they don't necessarily wear clothes, but they'll also wear whatever they find. So let's just say they're wearing just a random traffic cone on their head. They're aliens that like to really wear anything that they can find. So they'll wear a traffic cone on their head. They'll put, like, I don't know, hula hoop rings as their on their waist. Then they just find pieces of leaves and stick them on their legs and arms. You know, getting real wacky with that. I think I like, I think I like how this one's turning out, actually. You know, I think I'm gonna name it. I'm gonna name this alien Barry. Yeah, that's the name of the alien. Barry the Beefar. Editor me will probably find out a way to spell that, so I'll put it on the screen right here. That's what I said. It's very boring. Like, who wants to see an alien just be like, oh, well, it's made out of energy, so it just looks like a bunch of, you know, light flashing in front of you, or heat waves. Like, what? It doesn't even have a physical form? That's so... I'm just gonna imagine how they look instead. Like, why would I not just get creative with it? That's actually all the questions I have written down for this video. So what I also wanted to kind of do is just finish off with building a little base just so I can start off somewhere. Now, there's a lot of different ideas that I also want to kind of take it, where I could also probably start a variety of different things to do during the series as well. You know, eventually having viewer questions or just, you know, viewer topic discussions. Would love to do something like that. However, that's not really up to my control. I'm going to try to make it happen though. I think it'll be more fun to have an engaging conversation between just more people besides myself. I also really want to have a variety of different topics as well. Maybe even honestly, this could also turn into a podcast of sorts, but we'll see. Right now, it's just a solo endeavor of mine, just to kind of ramble, kind of throw some ideas out here, have a little fun while also playing Minecraft, which I love. It's good. Alright, now that I have enough wood, I'm gonna build a little spruce house right here. It's gonna be a little shitty. I'm definitely not gonna make my base here. It's gonna be a little bit. I'm thinking I want to make my base in a snow biome. Honestly, this is fine. I don't even want to waste too much material on this. I just wanted to just be able to keep me safe. Cool. Yeah, place the bed there. Alright, cool. Spawn point set. And alright, I'm done with the video. Cool. Little house done. So now I'm done with the video. Thanks for watching, if you actually stick the whole way through to hear me ramble. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. It was fun being able to kind of get started back in Minecraft and also talk about these myself, really. These are a bit more personal than I had initially thought. I think I'm gonna get some for next episode. I'm gonna do a bit more of like topic discussions. I'm gonna see how that works with some questions tossed in there. I might do a bit of mix of both. I'm thinking also maybe would you rather. So either will be good. So I'm just gonna end it here. But yeah. All right. Bye.